Ikena, Ojichi, and Obi moved cautiously through the thick mist, the eerie silence amplifying their anxiety. The forest felt alive, watching them with unseen eyes. Strange noises echoed, cracking branches, distant whispers, and the occasional rustle of leaves. They knew they were in a place no one had dared to enter, and that something sinister lay ahead. As they ventured deeper, the trio encountered strange symbols etched into the trees, and the air grew heavy with an oppressive energy. Obi, always the cautious one, whispered, I don't like this. This place feels wrong. Ikena tightened his grip on his sword. It's our only chance. We have to keep going. Suddenly, the mist parted, revealing a colossal, ancient tree at the forest's heart. It loomed over them like a silent guardian. Ikena approached it cautiously, drawn to a strange glowing symbol on its trunk. As he touched it, the ground trembled, and a hidden door opened, revealing a secret underground chamber. Inside, urged Ikena, this might be the key to our survival. Meanwhile, Neko, undeterred by the dangers of the forest, followed the faint tracks of Ikena's group. She was more determined than ever, driven by a mix of pride, hurt, and her unyielding belief that she and Ikena were destined to rule together. Her guards, fearful but loyal, trailed behind her. As they reached the heart of the forest, Neko noticed the ancient tree and the open door beneath it. She hesitated, sensing the powerful and unknown force within, but her resolve was unbroken. He's in there, she declared, and I will bring him back. With a swift motion, she descended into the chamber, determined to confront Ikena once and for all. Inside the chamber, Ikena, Ogichi, and Obi discovered a treasure trove of ancient artifacts, weapons, and scrolls, remnants of a long-forgotten kingdom. Among them was an ornate crown that seemed to pulse with an ethereal light. This is it, Ikena said, picking up the crown. The true legacy of our ancestors. It's not about power or control. It's about the freedom to choose our path. But just as he spoke, Neko appeared at the chamber's entrance, her face a mix of shock and fury. Ikena, you can't run forever. You are a prince of our people, and you belong with me. Ikena stood firm, holding the crown aloft. I belong to the people, Neko, not to tradition or to you. This crown represents more than just rulership. It represents a new beginning. The tension between Ikena and Neko reached its peak. Neko drew her sword, her anger boiling over. You will come back with me, even if I have to drag you. Ogichi stepped forward, her voice calm but resolute. Neko, this isn't the way. You've let pride blind you. Ikena's fight is not against you. It's against the chains that bind us all. Neko hesitated, the truth of Ogichi's words striking a chord deep within her. But before she could respond, the chamber began to tremble violently. The ancient magic of the forest was awakening, reacting to their conflict. The ground split open, and the room started to collapse. Run, Ikena shouted, grabbing Ojichi's hand. We have to get out of here. Neko, torn between her pursuit and the looming danger, watched as Ikena, Ojichi, and Obi sprinted towards the exit. In a desperate moment of clarity, she realized that holding on to Ikena was never about love but about control, and she let go. Ikena and his companions barely escaped the collapsing chamber, stumbling out into the forest's edge just as the sun began to rise. The forest behind them sealed itself, hiding its secrets once more. Breathing heavily, Akena turned to his friends. "It's over. We're free." Ogechi smiled, tears in her eyes. "Free to choose our destiny." Neka emerged from the forest, her expression softer and more resigned. She looked at Ikena, not with anger, but with a newfound respect. "You were right, Ikena. It was never about us. It was about freedom." She turned and walked away, leaving Ikena to forge his path. For the first time, she understood that power was not about control, but about letting go. As Ikena, Ogechi, and Obi emerged from the forest, the morning sun bathed them in a warm, golden light. They were exhausted but alive, their clothes torn and faces marked with the grime of battle. The weight of their journey, the choices they had made, and the lives they had risked all culminated in this moment. Ikena clutched the ancient crown, its glow now faint, as if recognizing that its time had passed. Ikena stepped forward, looking back at the hidden entrance of the chamber that had nearly cost them everything. He raised the crown one last time, contemplating its significance not as a symbol of power, but as a relic of the old ways that had kept them all bound. With a deep breath, he placed it gently at the base of the ancient tree, letting it rest among the roots that would reclaim it. Ogechi watched him, her eyes filled with admiration and pride. "You did it, Ikena. You chose freedom, not just for yourself, but for all of us." Ikena turned to her, his expression one of calm determination. "This crown belongs to the past, to a legacy that held us captive. Our future isn't about ruling over others. It's about creating a world where we can all choose our path." Obi, ever the loyal friend, smiled and placed a hand on Ikena's shoulder. "We started this journey searching for freedom, and now we found it not in crowns or thrones, but in each other." The three friends stood side by side, united by the trials they had faced and the choices that had defined them. They looked toward the horizon, where the sun was rising, casting a hopeful glow over the kingdom that lay ahead. From a distance, Neneka watched quietly. Her once fierce determination had softened into acceptance. She understood now that Ikena's defiance was never about rejecting her, but about embracing something greater than tradition or duty. She gave him a nod, a silent truce, an acknowledgement that they were both free to follow their own destinies. Ikena returned her nod, grateful for the peace that had finally settled between them. As Neka turned and walked away, Ikena knew that their paths had diverged, but that both were finally free to choose their own course. He took Ogechi's hand, and together with Obi, they began to walk toward the future, a future unbound by the past, filled with endless possibilities. The forest behind them, now still and silent, had witnessed the end of an era and the birth of a new beginning.
And define tradition.